Today it is time to give these grapevines a little haircut. Hi, I'm Amy of Hummingbird Hill. Welcome back to my garden. And as you can tell perhaps by, I'm hoping not so much with the noise on the microphone, I'm trying to shield it with my body right now. It is a super windy day out, but it is glorious. It is the 2nd of March, 2019, and I am a little bit behind in getting my grapevines pruned this year. January is really when I should have started with this. February would have been better, but really the weather was terrible and cold and rainy and icky, and I avoided the garden like the plague, except if I were coming out here to shoot a video or pick just a little bit of lettuce. So my time of reckoning has come, I guess, or the grapes' time of reckoning. Someone's going to be reckoning today, and I need to get these trimmed, and then I need to get them prepared so that I can start some grape propagation. I want to clone these grapevines, at least 2 of them, because they are literally some of the most delicious grapes I have ever tasted in my life. The only trouble with that is I have no idea what kind of grapes they are. So my goal this year is also to try and get them identified, because when I planted these vines 8 years ago, I was just thinking about growing some grapes for fun and for eating. I wasn't really thinking about selling them. And I'd like to actually try to start selling some table grapes and using that as a source of income for the farm, homestead, whatever we're calling this place that I happen to live that has a lot of land and so many weeds. So that is the goal today. You see, I've got my Saturday hair on because it's Saturday and we are actually outside. Thank goodness, because it is, like I said, just glorious. Now, these first grapes, I do know which kind these are. These are Niagaras, and the only reason I planted them is because I had Niagara grapes when I was a child, and they were delicious, at least in my childhood mind. Oh my gosh, would you look at my hair here? Sorry, I'm going to try and fix these. That's just not good. Anyway, it's windy. We'll all deal. It's a garden. Who cares how I look, right? Oh yeah, it's YouTube. Anyway, these are Niagara grapes, and they are a little tougher with the skin. They have seeds, so you kind of have to squeeze them out and eat the insides. I think they're delicious still, but they're not to everyone's taste. So I'm not going to be propagating these because they are not my favorite grapes, even though they are a childhood memory, which is why they're here. The second grapevine, coming right on down here. As you can see, the cardboard is looking mostly good. I have a few places I need to weigh down a little more. This wind is crazy. So these are delicious little tiny purple grapes. They may be Concord, I don't know. Again, the goal is to try and figure it out. But these I will be propagating because they are simply delicious. However, they are not as delicious as this vine down here. And as you can see, this vine is significantly shorter. It's also curved. All of them curved as they grew because the wire that I used to put them up wasn't taut enough, and it's kind of gotten less taut over the 8 years. I looked up how to plant grapes from the Oregon State University Extension Service, and that's where I got my info. That's how I've been pruning them every year. And I'm certainly not an expert, but they've been growing beautifully, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing for right now until I get better and have more time to do a little more research. Because if I want to get anything done, I can't spend all my time researching. I just got to try some things. So these little grapes are like red with a hint of green on them. They are so mouth-wateringly tasty. I cannot wait to get more of these in the ground, simply because I love them. You can freeze them. The chickens love them in the winter. The chickens love them anytime, which is how come Snap and Crackle have taught the rest of the chickens to break into my garden. Little rascals. But these are the ones I'm most interested in propagating. And as I said, I really should have trimmed these in January, February. They are, in some places, they have some nice little buds starting to break out. Now I have trimmed my grapes as late as March. late March before when I was in China and I came back on spring break. So, because no one else had trimmed them while I was gone. So I have trimmed these late and they just keep growing. I'm not sure how the propagation will work when I trim them late, but I'm going to give it a try and see how it goes. So right now I'm going to talk you through what I'm going to do to prune them, and then I'm going to get them all pruned, and then I will talk a little bit about how I'm going to propagate. So I'm going to put you down because right now I'm holding you because it's super windy and I don't want you to blow over, and we'll see how this goes. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, it is still super windy and I'm not sure how this tripod is going to stand up. And I'm not sure if you can even see my face because it is so bright out here, but if I turn the other way, I cannot see it all. I am prepared. I have some alcohol in a little spray bottle, just got it at the local store, and I really love this one because it has this little switch so that when I'm carrying it, as you can see, I'm so elegantly carrying it in my front pocket, it doesn't spray all over. I can put it in my pocket of my sweatshirt or my jeans or wherever, and it's good. I've got some paper towels so I can wipe off my cutters between vines as I need to, or if I want to prune anything else. I've started carrying this with me more faithfully just so I'm not spreading diseases in the garden, and I have my pruners. So I am going to get started here, and I'm just going to talk you through one little branch. And like I said, I am not an expert in pruning at all, and some of you who know about grapes are going to be looking at this going, oh my gosh, her poor grapevines. I'm just going with what I know and what I read and kind of what I ascertained from what I read, and as I plant my new grapevines and grow them, I will get better because that's part of the journey in the garden. So here I have, as you can see, I let my grapevines get seriously overgrown, and part of it is because just like with my tomatoes, I've been afraid to prune them. I haven't really known, like I've trimmed them off when they get all the way over into the raised beds, which are 4 or 5 feet away, or if they're growing overhead, but I really learned this year through watching YouTube that I could be pruning a lot more heavily than I have been. But the great thing about having so many vines is I have so much potential for propagation. So what I'm going to do here is, got my pruners, I'm just going to come back, let's see, can you I need to angle this just a smidgen. You see that? There we go. As you can see, I've got this giant mess of branches right here. So I'm going to come back here and get as close as I can to the main branch, and I should totally know that word, and I looked it up and I know it, but now I'm gonna have to put it on the screen, and I'm gonna get as close as I possibly can. Now this end is being held on by some of these, so otherwise I normally trim closer, but I'm not going to. So I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna trim all of these, and I'm not trying to save these branches for anything, so I'm just gonna go pretty fast. So I'm gonna get to work on that, and I will be back to talk to you about my next steps once these are all pruned off. Okay? Okay, I had to run get this other tripod-y thing because my standy up one was blowing over in the wind because it is that windy outside. So I'm gonna try and hook this over here somewhere. Hopefully it will get this, otherwise you're just gonna have me talking about grapes and not actually see any of this happening, which seems to be the norm. Hold on, let me get you set up and I'm gonna get back to work. Isn't that the cutest little bird nest? I discovered that last summer and I left it. The birds had already had their family and departed when I was pruning and discovered it. I'll probably end up removing it this year, but it's adorable. For right now, it'll stay. As you can see, I am pruning these branches right above where a little bud is popping out. I ideally should be training them so one bud goes one way, one goes another, and there are a couple of different stems coming up on each of these little growth points. However, as I said, I am just really getting to be better at pruning. I've been kind of haphazard up till now, and my grapes are growing beautifully. They're delicious, but I can do better. So as I go along, and especially with my new grape vines that I have on the hill and the ones I'm going to start here, I will be working on becoming a better pruner. Right now, I am throwing the vines that I want to propagate over the fence. If they're too short, they need at least 3 bud starts on them to really get a good start. Otherwise, the rest of the branches are staying here in the garden. I'm going to continue with my last set of branches, and then I will talk to you a little bit about how I'm going to get the branches I just cut off ready for propagation. Okay, here we go. Okay, real quick, I wanted to show you a couple of the problems that I made for myself when I was pruning these vines. So what you're actually looking for when you prune is you want a bud that is close to the base of the plant as possible, that faces either out or up and away from another branch. As you see, I have branches crossing here. These branches are way too far down. These I can trim farther. Those have died off. Nothing's coming out of them. Well, coming off to the side here. And that's part of the problem, is I have a lot of twisty vines. Now, the grapes still grow. So that's part of my problem, is that I just kind of pruned haphazardly. And so I'm trying to do some remedying of that right now. And these vines will continue to grow, but they're kind of a mess. It's all a learning process. So, as I said, I hope I'm going to get better soon. And part of the thing that really helped me is when I started growing these vines, I really didn't watch YouTube at all for anything. And so I read the information on the University of Oregon's website. They have a great ag program. So I read that stuff and I looked at the pictures, but it was hard for me then to apply that from the flat page into a multi-dimensional kind of thing. Now, the YouTube, super helpful for this. In any case, I will put some links below to some people who have really helped me and some websites that have helped me as I'm trying to figure out how to do this better. As I said, this year, kind of just going with what I normally do because that's what I have the time for. But the thing that I don't normally do is take all of the branches that I cut off sometime in the middle of winter and then try to turn them into new grape vines. So that is what I'm going to work on next. These are all cut off. That didn't take that long. I have a few more to cut that I was just showing you. But I'm going to get those cut off, and then I will talk to you a little bit about how I'm going to propagate. And I will actually link you to Mike, I think it's McGarity. He's had a YouTube channel for at least 5 years, and he's just really simple, down to earth, basic, direct, super helpful information. And I will put a link to his stuff about propagating grapes below because that's where I got my information, and I'm super excited to try it out. So Mike, thank you so much for making those videos that were inspired me to try this, because I cannot wait to have more of my favoriteest grapes in the whole world. Okay, hold on a sec, let me finish this up, and then we'll get on to the propagating part. Be right back. I got a phone call and had to run inside and charge my phone because phone calls tend to kill it when I'm filming. Who knew? All right, now that the sun has moved off the garden, the winds are kicking up even more and it is so cold out here. So I am going to get myself inside so I don't turn purple, and I really thank you for spending your time with me this afternoon. The grapevines are all trimmed and pruned, and if you'd like more information about that from people who know more about it than I do, I'm going to put some links down below for you to check out. If you enjoyed spending the afternoon with me as I figure things out in my garden, please go ahead and click that subscribe button and ring that little bell so that you're notified when I make a new video. Let me know what kind of grapes you're growing. If you are growing some, maybe we can figure out what my purple grapes and my little reddish green grapes are, because they are so delicious. You should have them in your garden if you don't. By next fall, I will definitely know what they are. That's my mission. So I really appreciate you joining me here in my garden, and I hope that you'll join me next time so we can do a little more growing together.